Senior men. Biggest self-pleasure mistakes. Life after 60 today. What if the way you've been masturbating is actually holding you back? Let me ask you something personal but important. What if the way you've been masturbating for years, maybe even decades, is actually working against you? You might think you've got it all figured out. You've found what feels good. You've built a routine. You know your body right, but here's the surprising truth. Most men unknowingly fall into habits that silently reduce pleasure, numb sensitivity, and even affect performance in bed. You're not alone, and you're definitely not broken if you've ever thought, why don't I feel as much as I used to? Why is it harder to climax with a partner? Why am I craving more intensity but feeling less pleasure? You're not the only one. Many men just like you, are making small but powerful mistakes that over time lead to frustration, decreased sensation, and even difficulty with intimacy. And the worst part, no one talks about it. There's no instruction manual, no safe space to ask questions, and for a lot of men this topic feels uncomfortable or taboo. But not today. Today we're breaking the silence. In this video, I'm going to reveal the 6 most common mistakes men make when masturbating. These are mistakes I've seen in coaching sessions, health clinics, and real conversations with men in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond. And I guarantee at least one of these will surprise you. By the time we're done, you'll understand what's been limiting your pleasure. You'll discover how to reconnect with your body in a deeper way. And you'll gain practical tools to enhance pleasure, confidence, and control. This isn't just a video about masturbation. It's a video about rewiring your brain, about reclaiming your body, about experiencing satisfaction like you've never known before. Stay with me because the last mistake, and it's the one that impacts almost every man, and fixing it can be a complete game changer. So if you're ready to take back control, reclaim your confidence, and experience deeper, more satisfying pleasure, then go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe to Life After 60 today, and turn on notifications. Because this isn't just a conversation. It's the one conversation every man needs to have, but almost no one ever does. Now let's dive in. Mistake 1. The myth of semen retention. Let's start with one of the most popular and most misunderstood concepts in the men's wellness world today, semen retention. A lot of men believe that holding in their semen makes them stronger, boosts testosterone, improves energy, and sharpens mental clarity. This idea has been pushed by self-help influencers, masculinity coaches, even spiritual communities, claiming it unlocks a man's full potential. But what does science say? The reality: science doesn't back the hype. It's true that abstaining from ejaculation for a few days can cause a brief spike in testosterone, but this boost is usually small, peaks around day 7, and then levels out or even drops if you continue abstaining. In other words, semen retention doesn't create long-term testosterone gains, that high some men feel during retention. It's often a mix of psychological intensity and placebo effect, not sustainable biology. Meanwhile, suppressing ejaculation can lead to real downsides: increased stress and irritability, sleep disturbances, difficulty relaxing or focusing, and even a buildup of tension in the prostate. The Harvard study that changed everything. A 2016 study from the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health found that men who ejaculated at least 21 times per month had a 33% lower risk of developing prostate cancer compared to those who ejaculated 4 to 7 times per month. Let that sink in. Ejaculation isn't just natural, it's protective. It's cleansing, it's healthy. Why regular ejaculation supports overall health. Here's what happens physiologically when you ejaculate. DHT levels, a form of testosterone linked to prostate growth, temporarily drop. Prostatic fluid is released, preventing stagnation. Pelvic floor muscles contract and relax, keeping them strong. Your body enters a short parasympathetic rest and digest state, lowering stress. It's not just about release. It's a full body reset. The takeaway: your body was meant to flow, not store pressure. If you're avoiding ejaculation because someone on YouTube said it would turn you into a beast, it's time to question that narrative. Do it for the right reasons, not out of fear, guilt, or misinformation. Your goal isn't to store power. It's to circulate it, regulate it, and work with your biology, not against it. Ready for what's next, because while this first mistake is rooted in outdated advice, mistake 2 is hiding in your hands. It's about how most men unknowingly desensitize their own bodies every time they touch themselves. Ready to unlock more? Let's move forward. Mistake 2 is coming up next, so we've exposed the myth of semen retention and why suppressing natural release can actually harm more than help. But now, let's talk about something even more common and more quietly destructive: a habit so many men fall into without ever realizing how much it's limiting their pleasure. Mistake 2. The numbing grip problem. It's a pattern that starts early, often in secrecy and haste in the search for a quick release. Over time, it becomes a default. Same grip, same speed, same pressure, same outcome. It's efficient, predictable, comfortable. But there's one problem. Your body adapts, and not in a good way. Many men unknowingly train their bodies to respond to just one type of stimulation. And when that happens, all other types, especially partnered intimacy, start to feel muted, distant, underwhelming. Why this repetitive pattern becomes a real problem. Your body's nervous system is incredibly adaptive. It gets used to the stimuli you give it. But when that stimulation is always the same, and especially when it's overly tight or aggressive, you may be training your nerves to only respond to that specific pressure. This leads to what some refer to as death grip syndrome. It's not an official medical term, but it's real and it's recognizable. Symptoms include difficulty climaxing with a partner, reduced sensitivity during sex, needing intense, specific friction to feel anything, a growing gap between solo pleasure and partnered satisfaction, and unfortunately, many men don't connect the dots until it starts interfering with their sex lives. Real-life example: Alan, age 60. Alan had a happy marriage. He loved his wife, and emotionally their relationship was solid. But when it came to sex, things felt off. He came to me saying, "I just can't feel what I used to. It's like I'm there, but I'm not there." After some discussion, we discovered that for decades, Alan had used the same tight grip, the same exact method during self-pleasure. He had unknowingly conditioned his body to only respond to that pressure. Anything different, softer, slower, or more natural just didn't register anymore. Even though he was with someone he loved, intimacy felt flat. Climaxing during sex became increasingly difficult. What helped? A sensitivity retraining program. Alan didn't need pills or complicated devices. What he needed was a re-education of touch, a chance for his nervous system to recalibrate. Here's what we did. He lightened his grip, slowed down his sessions, tried different angles, rhythms, and techniques, and even began using a condom during solo play to mimic real-life intercourse pressure. At first, it felt awkward, but with patience and consistency, something amazing happened. Within 3 months, Alan reported better sensitivity, more satisfying solo sessions, and most importantly, a renewed sense of pleasure with his wife. He hadn't lost his ability to feel. He'd just buried it under years of repetition. What this means for you: if you always use the same pressure, same pace, or same routine, your body adapts to that. And over time, it may no longer respond well to anything else. But the fix is simple: vary your technique. Try lighter strokes. Change your grip. Use your non-dominant hand. Use lubricant to enhance sensation and reduce friction. Introduce pauses, don't rush the process. Doing this keeps your body responsive, sensitive, and flexible. And that translates to better experiences, not just alone, but with a partner too. Mistake 3. Rushing through the experience. Let's move to another habit that's just as damaging, though much more subtle. For many men, masturbation has become a fast, thoughtless task, a checkbox, a tension release, a quick escape. It's not about feeling anymore, it's about finishing. But when you treat self-pleasure like a race, you miss out on something essential. Sensation, connection, presence, and the long-term ability to stay in control. Why this is so common? This habit often begins young. Men grow up in households where privacy is rare, shame is high, and speed is necessary. That rush becomes ingrained, and for decades the routine goes unchecked. It becomes habitual, disconnected, and emotionally flat. Even when you're older with freedom, time, and privacy, you may still find yourself rushing. Why? Because it's what your body has learned. Real-life example: David, age 55. David had been rushing through masturbation since his teens. Raised in a strict household, he learned to be quick, quiet, and discreet. Decades later, that urgency remained. Even though he was married and had privacy, he still rushed through every session like he was 16 again. The result: weaker orgasms, premature ejaculation with his partner, and an overall feeling of disconnection from his own body. He didn't enjoy it anymore. It was just something he did. The turning point: slowing down. David began practicing what I call intentional pleasure. He made small, mindful changes. He allowed himself more time, focused on breathing and rhythm, paid attention to what sensations actually felt good, treated the experience as exploration, not urgency. Over time, he noticed orgasms became deeper, more fulfilling. He had more control during intimacy, and he felt reconnected with his body. The transformation wasn't about adding time, it was about adding attention. What's what this means for you? If you've ever found yourself speeding through the experience, barely aware of the sensation, finishing just to move on with your day, ask yourself, what would happen if I slowed down? Pleasure isn't just about release, it's about experience. And when you bring presence into self-pleasure, you gain more control, more sensitivity, and more fulfillment, both alone and with a partner. In the last section, we followed David's journey, how simply slowing down and tuning into his body transformed not just his solo experience, but also his connection with his partner. But there's another common mistake men make that goes even deeper. It limits not just performance, but the entire range of pleasure your body is capable of feeling. Mistake 4. Ignoring other pleasure zones. Let's be honest. Most men focus almost exclusively on one area when it comes to self-pleasure. Their penis. It's instinctual, it's obvious, it's what we've been taught either directly or indirectly. But this narrow focus comes with a cost. You're missing out on an entire network of erogenous zones capable of providing a much richer, more fulfilling experience. The male body is wired with thousands of nerve endings, not just in one spot, but all over. And when you limit touch to just one zone, you're leaving a whole map of sensation unexplored. Why this becomes a real problem over time. When you always focus on just one area, you train your body to become less sensitive elsewhere. You develop a narrow pathway for pleasure that doesn't translate well to partnered intimacy. You reinforce routines that limit full body connection and emotional depth. It's like only eating the crust of a pizza and throwing the rest away. You're getting something, but you're missing the most satisfying part. Pleasure isn't confined to one part of your body. It's a network of potential if you're willing to explore it. Real-life example: Michael, age 58. Michael had always approached self-pleasure with one goal in mind: finish fast. He never saw it as something worth exploring. For him, it was simply one technique, one target, one purpose. Over the years, he noticed changes. His orgasms felt weaker. His body seemed less responsive. And even with his wife, his desire felt flat. He told me, "It's not that I don't love her, I just feel like I'm not all there anymore." When I suggested incorporating other pleasure zones, he raised an eyebrow. Like what? Isn't that a bit much? But after some education and encouragement, Michael started slowly. Light touch around his inner thighs, gentle nipple stimulation, occasional perineum massage, At first, he said it felt strange, but within a few weeks, something shifted. His body woke up. He felt more connected. His orgasms became more intense, and his intimate moments with his wife became exciting again, like they had unlocked a door they didn't know existed. What this means for you. Your body is a multi-layered sensory system, and the more of it you include in your pleasure routine, the deeper your experience becomes. Here are just a few zones to explore nipples, rich with nerve endings often ignored. Inner thighs, responsive to light teasing touch. Perineum, the area between the genitals and anus, full of untapped sensation. Neck, ears, lower back, overlooked but powerful when touched mindfully. You don't have to explore everything at once. But the act of exploring itself sends a powerful message to your body. You are allowed to feel more than one thing. You're allowed to feel fully. The science behind it. Neurologically expanding your touch increases neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to create new connections. Nerve responsiveness, your body's ability to detect more subtle sensation. Orgasmic intensity, because more of your body is engaged in the experience. Studies in sexual health have shown that men who incorporate full body awareness into their routines report higher satisfaction, show improved performance, and experience more fulfilling intimacy both solo and with partners. The emotional shift beyond. The physical benefits exploring other pleasure zones creates a subtle emotional transformation. You become more present, more curious, more tuned into your body, and that shift often extends beyond the bedroom. Men report greater body confidence, lower anxiety, and improved communication with partners, all from allowing themselves to go beyond the usual routine. What this means practically. If you've always done things the same way, same technique, same grip, same focus, it's time to ask, what else am I capable of feeling? And the answer is, a lot. Give yourself permission to explore. Start slow. Stay curious. Breathe through it. Let your body teach you something new. This isn't about being more sexual. It's about being more aware, more connected, more alive. Next up, mistake 5. Using the wrong lubrication. Most men never think twice about what they use for lubrication if they use anything at all. But the wrong choice can mean less pleasure, more friction, and even long-term desensitization or irritation. Let's talk about what you should never use and what works best for sensitivity, skin health, and long-term pleasure. So far, we've explored how grip pacing mindset and even neglected pleasure zones can either support or sabotage your experience. But there's one more detail, one that seems minor yet quietly influences everything: the lubrication you use. Or don't. Let's talk about mistake 5, using the wrong lubricant, and why fixing it might be the simplest change with the biggest payoff. Mistake 5. Using the wrong lubrication. It might not seem like a big deal. Lubrication is often treated as an afterthought if it's considered at all. But here's what most men don't realize. The wrong lubricant can lead to irritation, reduced sensitivity, and long-term discomfort. It's not just about glide. It's about protecting your skin, enhancing pleasure, and giving your body the care it truly deserves. Why this matters more than you think: lotions and soaps, they're not made for this. Many contain harsh chemicals, alcohol, and synthetic fragrances. These can dry out sensitive skin, leading to irritation, redness, and even micro tears. Over time, this damage adds up, decreasing sensitivity and making the experience less enjoyable. And if you're using oil-based products, you're dealing with another set of issues: stains on clothes or sheets, condom degradation during partnered sex, hard-to-clean messes that affect your comfort and safety. Real-life story: James, age 54. James had always reached for body lotion. It was easy, available, and seemed harmless. But after years of this habit, he noticed something had changed: persistent irritation, occasional redness, a slow, frustrating loss of sensitivity. He came to me thinking it was just part of aging. But once we looked at the products he was using, the issue became clear. I suggested switching to a high-quality water-based lubricant, gentle, safe, and made specifically for sexual use. The result, immediate relief. His sessions became smoother, more comfortable, far more pleasurable. He no longer had to deal with post-pleasure irritation, and for the first time in years he could focus on the experience, not the after-effects. What this means for you. Choosing the right lube isn't just about feeling good, it's about protecting your long-term sexual health. Here's a quick breakdown: water-based lubricants. Easy to clean, safe for all skin types, compatible with condoms and sex toys. Ideal for everyday use. Silicone-based lubricants. Ultra-smooth and long-lasting. Great for extended sessions. Not ideal with silicone toys, but excellent for skin-on-skin pleasure. Avoid lotions, soaps, oil-based products unless specifically formulated for sexual use. Even a small upgrade in your lube can lead to major improvements in sensation, comfort, and post-session recovery. Treat your skin like it matters, because it does. Mistake 6. Feeling shame about masturbation. Let's wrap this journey with the most personal and most damaging mistake of all: shame. For generations, men have been taught that masturbation is wrong, immoral, a dirty secret to be hidden. Even now, in adulthood, those beliefs don't just disappear. They linger in our minds, our bodies, and our relationships. Why shame is more harmful than the act itself. Shame doesn't prevent the urge. It just turns a natural, healthy experience into a source of stress. The impact: anxiety, guilt, emotional suppression, and difficulty connecting with yourself or your partner. Instead of embracing your body, you learn to hide from it. Instead of owning your pleasure, you feel like you have to apologize for it. And that burden, it wears on you physically, emotionally, spiritually. Real-life example: Tom, age 59. Tom grew up in a deeply religious home. From a young age, he was told that masturbation was shameful, even sinful. As an adult, he carried those beliefs silently. Every time he touched himself, he felt guilt, conflict, a quiet sense of failure. That guilt became tension. That tension became distance from his body and eventually from his wife. But when Tom began reframing self-pleasure as healthy, intentional self-care, something shifted. He let go of the guilt. He stopped apologizing for being human, and his relationship with himself and with his partner transformed. What this means for you: masturbation is normal, healthy, beneficial. It helps lower stress, improve sleep, regulate hormones, enhance self-awareness. It's not a weakness. It's a form of self-respect. The moment you stop hiding from your own biology, you unlock the door to confidence, clarity, and connection on your own terms. Final message: reclaiming pleasure with intention. Let's be real. For years, society told you that self-pleasure was just a physical release. Something habitual, mindless, maybe even shameful. But today we uncovered the truth. Small mistakes like rushing over, gripping, ignoring your body, or using the wrong tools can add up over time. These habits dull your sensitivity, limit your joy, and affect your connection with yourself and others. The good news: you don't need to stay stuck in those patterns. What's the lesson here? You have the power to break bad habits, rewire your relationship with your body, and rediscover what true full-bodied pleasure feels like. Because this isn't just about masturbation. It's about confidence, intimacy, and reclaiming your sense of self in a world that tried to make you feel guilty for having one. So let me ask you, now that you know the truth, what will you do with it? Let's keep the conversation going. Have you struggled with shame, discomfort, or frustration around self-pleasure? What's one small change you're willing to try starting today? Drop a comment below. I read every single one, and your voice matters. If this message spoke to you, tap the like button, subscribe to Life After 60 today, and turn on notifications for weekly, honest, science-backed conversations about men's health, vitality, and sexual wellness without the fluff or judgment. Because your body isn't broken. It's waiting for you to come back to it with compassion, curiosity, and care. This is your moment. Make it count.